Now we're inside, I'm going to tackle the hardest job first, and that is the keyboard. So time to remove the keyboard. Right, tackling the keyboard is a right raw pain in the bum in this keyboard itself. Tackling the key bed, should I say, be more precise. And the reason for that is that these boards are all attached to the frame. So there's the key frame. This is the back of the key frame, and as you can see, all these boards are attached to it. So what I'm going to try and do, and I can't remember how I did this last time I had this out, because I have had this out in the past. In order to get this out, what I think I need to do is, I'm hoping that if I undo these screws here, like that, and there's a couple of screws elsewhere, that this, actually, no, I don't think that's going to work. There. Yeah, that's not going to work because there are screws underneath these boards, which means the boards need to come up. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and do something a little bit different. I'm going to actually undo the boards so I can pivot the boards forward, because all the other stuff I need to do in this keyboard is actually on top of the board and I can access it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo these boards, and then I'm going to pivot them up to allow me to get access to the screws that are underneath here. And I don't know how many screws there are. Or are there screws? There's definitely a screw there. I might be able to get away with it. Let's see how we go. But we're going to get into here. I definitely need to undo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws to allow me to lift those. And I think I can just about access that screw there. I can. So I'm hoping I might be able to get away with this. We'll see how we go. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Right, trusty screwdriver. I've got those loose, so hopefully this will slide out with a little bit of luck. Do I really want to take that one off? Probably going to have to. It's at this point you take pictures. Okay, that's not going to work because the keyboard wants to come up. It can't slide out. So I am going to have to take these boards out and pivot. Okay, a little bit more work. Let me go and get some more stuff. While off camera, I went and got one of my bits boxes and had to make up a bunch of labels so that I can drop these into the bits boxes with all the screws. This is something I do to make sure I don't put the wrong screws in the wrong holes. And because I've now got to undo these 3 boards, I wanted to make sure I had the right screws in the right holes. So what I'm now going to do is I'm now going to undo the rest of the internal screws, which is only those 2 there that hold the main motherboard in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the screws on the edge, which hold the motherboard against the frame, and then I can move that and pivot it. That's the kind of idea here, is to be able to pivot that up. Might have to remove some of the connectors, so I've also taken a bunch of photographs. So let's get on with this. The reason I'm putting that one back is because I think I can just take the one on the outside out and then just pivot, and that should do the trick. Right, so now what we need to do is we need to just move that so it's on its edge, like so. And then I've got a whole raft of screws that need to be undone on the back here. Okay, so that's all these boards out, and if I now disconnect the keyboard, which is these 2 connectors here, so what you need to do is very lightly, you just need to lever the edge of the connector up. It should just then release without damaging the connector. It does like that, releases the ribbon which sits underneath that. And that releases the 2 ribbon cables to allow me to get this key bed out. Right, we're now at the point where, with a bit of wiggling, I can move these boards up like so and just unhook the cables. And what I should be able to do is lift out the keyboard. Now the only other thing I've got to do here, if I remember correctly, is disconnect the aftertouch board. Now, if I remember rightly, this is just a ribbon cable that needs to be slowly pulled back like that. So hopefully you got that on this camera. That then allows me to detach the keyboard from the frame. Okay, so obviously I want to work on this bit, so that's the next piece. Keyboard and frame separated.